Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gridiron Grooves. My name is Luke, and join with me, as always, but in person this time.
Is Ryan Grant.
We're switching up a little bit. Ryan's in here in person for this episode. We're doing the divisional, only 4 games, but it's the final 8 teams. We had two. You didn't pick the Texans, right?
No.
Okay.
Neither one of us did, but I did say that they had a chance. And then
I said they
did,
had a chance.
And then I also picked the commies, and I picked the Rams. So I got both those right.
Yeah, I didn't pick the Rams. I was more bullish on that. I thought the Rams could win. I was close on that one, but
Dude, no, I even said I was like, I think that defense line is really going to get to Sam Darnold. I think 9 sacks.
My main thing was just I didn't think the secondary was going to play as good as they did. And
Yeah.
They played really well. We'll get into that. But
yeah.
First game we have up is a rematch of week 16.
It was Christmas.
It was Christmas. Week
Yeah.
16 because in 17 was Rams.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Christmas. It was the week before Christmas because Christmas Day was Ravens when I got my Christmas ruined.
Oh, that's right.
So, week 16 rematch, Chiefs versus Texans. Texans going back to Arrowhead. Last time they were on here, Tank Dell had that really bad injury where he will more than likely miss all of 2025. And maybe, he might, it could be career ending. But just to rematch this game, Texans coming off of a 2 years in a row, very dominant wild card win, where it's like their defense shows up.
Mm-hmm.
They made the other quarterback look foolish. Last year, obviously, it was Joe Flacco. This year, though, it's a quarterback who's held in more high regard in Justin Herbert, and he had a terrible game. And Texans have done this to most of the quarterbacks they face this year. They've had really bad games. Like Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen had a terrible game. Really, the only quarterback, like Mahomes didn't have an incredible game. The only quarterback, Lamar's like the only quarterback that's really popped off against the Texans and Sam Darnold a little bit. But to preview this game, though, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to take the Chiefs. But I think the Texans can keep it competitive. Like I said last week, the same reason is that defense is really, really, really good. It is a championship level defense. And I would, if the Eagles didn't exist, I'd probably say it's the best defense remaining in the playoffs.
No, yeah,
but I'd also probably say they're the worst offense remaining in the playoffs.
Oof.
Or the least. They have the lowest floor offense.
Okay.
Probably. I would take. Really, the only offense I'd argue is worse is maybe the Rams at times. But I think the Texans probably the worst offense remaining in the playoffs, just from what we've seen this season. And so that's what worries me with this game is like the defense. They'll let up some stuff, I'm sure, throughout the game, but the main matchup is Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson versus those tackles of
Wyatt Morris and Jawan Taylor. Yeah.
But they didn't have any sacks last time these two teams played. Sorry. They didn't have any sacks last time. At least Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter didn't. Mainly because the Chiefs were just getting the ball off fast.
Yeah.
I think the Texans are going to probably play a lot more press. They're going to play a lot closer up and say, all right, you got to beat us deep because they have the corners to hold up.
Kamari Lassiter has been playing amazing.
Stingley's an all-pro. Kamari Lassiter should be a first-team all-rookie. I don't know. I think he was second team, but
yeah.
But I thought he should have been first team behind. I think the only rookie corner playing better than him has been Quinyon Mitchell.
But they're going to have Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, they had Cooper DeJean, even though I think he should have been technically corner, but whatever. But Texans have the cornerbacks to hold up. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm just worried about this Texans offense because Spagnuolo is one of, if not the best defensive coordinator in the league. He's going to have this defense ready to play. The interior offensive line of the Texans versus Chris Jones is not going to be ideal, even though they did play better last week. It's just going to really depend. Can the Texans open up the run game a little bit? Can they move the Chiefs a little bit in the run game like they were able to against the Chargers in that second half? And it's going to be, again, like I said last week, the Texans offense is going to be how much can Nico Collins get us? Yep. Last week it was like 7 catches for like 130 yards and a touchdown. And he had all those big catches in the first half, and they got him rolling. You just have to spam it to him again. But this time he's got Trent McDuffie probably covering him. I would lean Nico Collins in that matchup, even though I really think Trent McDuffie's good. I just think that highly of Nico Collins, but I'm taking the Chiefs, and I'm going to take the Chiefs 24-18.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm also taking the Chiefs as well. Like I said, I think that, like you said, I think hopefully this time that Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter can get the pressure on them. I'm also hoping for you get a little more interior pressures. Obviously, like that's where the Chiefs' offensive line is at its best with
Yeah.
Trey Smith, with Joe Tinney, with Creed Humphrey. So it's gonna be. Can you make
Well,
Patrick
Joe
Mahomes
Tooney's actually playing tackle.
right now? He's been moving in and out, but he's
He's been at tackle the last couple games.
last couple of
Maybe
games.
they keep him there.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Would you want to keep him there going against DNA? He's played good there,
Yeah.
but he's going up against one of the best edge rushers in the NFL.
And that's what I'm saying is like, do you move him back where like he's going to feel more comfortable?
Because Eagles have had solid interior pass rush. Mario
Yeah.
Edwards, Tim Settle, Fulton Fatukasi.
And then also, I mean, obviously the Danico Autry,
Danico Autry's had some really good
ones.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Like if you can make Patrick Holmes uncomfortable, I feel like you can make a closer game. Hopefully you can force a turnover. I mean, like obviously, like their weapons aren't the best. Maybe Derek Staley can get himself a pick or force a fumble. I'm still gonna take the Chiefs. I'm gonna say 28-21. But ultimately, I mean, we kind of see this going. Like they're going to make it to the AFC Championship game because that's what the Chiefs been doing. That's what they do.
I mean, it's going to be the Chiefs ran it up for a lot the first matchup, which was kind of out of the norm. I know they got ran on back-to-back weeks, the Texans did, but they were a good run defense all season.
Yeah.
And then it was back-to-back weeks where they got gashed and sent they didn't let it really anything against Chargers, Titans. Titans, and they also didn't play their ones for the majority of the game, but we'll see if the Texas run defense can be better and just how effective can the Texans offense be. I think they can win this game. I don't know how it's really going to happen with just the Chiefs voodoo magic, and they'll always find a way to win.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up the ref.
Yeah, they do have what's his name?
Clay. You're the one who told me about it. Like, hey, he is undefeated.
I texted you, but hold on. Clay Martin is the ref. He's not a terrible ref. I know who he is. It's just Chiefs have never lost with him ref in their game, at least under Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But both taking the Chiefs here. Next game we have is the night game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Is Commanders at Lions. Who are you taking?
So
this is the biggest line, I think.
I think it's the biggest line, but I think that legitimately the Commanders can put up a fight. I think that their offense is really explosive. I think
it's 9.5. Chiefs for 8.5.
Yeah, I think obviously I think that their defense is going to be their weak point. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, getting David Montgomery back is a godsend for the Lions. I mean, they're getting
healthy he is.
Well, see, but that's what I'm saying is even without him being there, Jahmyr Gibbs has stepped up in that role, taken on that responsibility, and done really well. So they don't have to lean on Montgomery, but he's going to be able to spell Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit. So that's going to help him out as far as making a deep playoff run. So it's really going to come down to the fact that I think the Lions can be able to run the ball. Jared Goff's been playing really well ever since that 5 interceptions games. He's been playing really well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't think he's dropped a pass that was targeted to him.
Yeah.
That's legit insane. And then obviously you have Jameson Williams have those explosive plays. This offense is so dangerous that I think even though the Commanders can put up a fight, I think the Commanders can put up 24 points in this Lions defense. I'm ultimately going with the Lions winning 34-24. I legitimately don't see the Commanders being able to hold up with the Lions offense. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout, but I think ultimately the Lions are going to pull away in the fourth quarter, 34-24.
See, did he have any drop? I don't know if it shows me. He had one drop according to PFF.
One drop, goodness.
So on 138 targets, PFF listed him with one drop.
That's
crazy.
That's legit insane.
So you took what was your score?
34-24.
34-24. I'm also going to take Detroit. It's been a great season for Washington. They're always going to be here. You'd assume with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels. So Washington's future looks bright. I just think their defense is just not going to be able to hold up against this offense. And I mean, Detroit's defense is very banged up. They're getting some guys back or should be getting healthier.
Mhm.
So we'll see how that fares. And like if they win this game going to the championship game and maybe in the Super Bowl. But I just think this offense is just too electric. And like you've got a great offensive line. Jameer Gibbs is playing like their best running back in the NFL. You've got these weapons. Jameson Williams had a great year. Amon Ra's obviously been his normal self.
But even Tim Patrick has been coming in.
Yeah,
like
Tim
clutch
Patrick
every now
has
and
been
then.
really good for them. He's been a
Yeah.
good blocker on the outside. You've got Sam Laporta's had a down year, but he's still been solid. All tight ends have pretty much been down this year. But this offense, I just think is going to be too much for the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to score just because they've been able to score all year. But I think final score will be 35-25, Detroit. But I think it might be like it might be tight going into the fourth quarter, and then it kind of
Just pull away. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree.
So
I think it's gonna be a shootout for sure.
hopefully, I mean, we said last week it was going to be a shootout between
Yes.
Washington and the Bucks, and that was a good game.
It was a good
It
game.
just wasn't a shootout as
No.
we expected. And Baker did not throw an interception, so
He did fumble though.
yeah, but that's not an interception.
No,
So.
no, he didn't.
The next game we have is the Rams at Philly. This matchup for me is really fun.
Yes.
I know we saw these two teams play early in the season. Was it on Monday night or Sunday night? Or
I think it was on Monday night, but it was like
and Saquon went crazy.
Crazy, yes.
He went for like over 200. He had like 3 touchdowns. I don't anticipate that happening again. As good as Saquon is, this front for the Rams, this defense for the Rams has really clicked here in the back half of the season. Exclude the Bills game. They've played really good football. They've allowed, let's see, in their last 5 games, they allowed, it's not counting the Seahawks because they didn't play their starters, 6, 9, 9, 12, 9. Oh no, that's the wrong.
It was Sunday Night Football, November 24th.
Oh yeah,
37-20.
Yeah, 9. Yeah, so they've kind of locked it up the last couple of weeks here when they played their starters. I think the front of the Bills or of the Rams versus the Eagles offensive line is going to be the key here. How good can the secondary hold up like they did against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison? Can they hold up against AJ Brown and Devontae Smith like that?
Mhm.
And Jalen Hurts, what I saw last week was they were protecting him. He obviously was still dealing with the concussion, which is understandable, but is he still going to, like, they just weren't really making him take true dropbacks. They weren't running him a lot. Like he ran one time and he slid, which I don't really ever see Jalen Hurts slide.
No.
He wants to run somebody over because he's huge and he can get extra yards. I don't know how he still is with this concussion and everything, but if you're going to get a subpar Jalen Hurts, this Rams team, as good as the defense of the Eagles is, they have a coaching advantage. I think this is the second best coach in the playoffs right now behind Andy Reid. I'm never going to count out Sean McVay. He obviously whooped up on his opponent Kevin McConnell last week, but I don't know. I'm still going to take the Eagles in a very close game.
Yes.
I think the Eagles might get like a walk-off field goal or something like that, or it's a field goal in the final minute or two. I'm going to go with 27-24 Philly.
Okay. I'm also going to go Philly, but I'm going to go a little bit lower score. I think ultimately, obviously, we talked about they played previously. Saquon Barkley went off in that game. You said 200. It was like 255 rushing yards. It was legit insane. I think coming into those playoffs, the Rams are on a high. I mean, they've been on a win streak, and outside of losing to the Seahawks, but I think that defensive line hopefully can get pressure on Jalen Hurts. That has not been playing well. I mean, obviously that's been a big storyline. Just the passing offense just hasn't been there. Some of that's blame been put on Jalen. Some has been put on Kellen Moore. But there's a lot of frustration there. Obviously, I think that the Eagles are obviously going to be able to score some points, but I think that this Rams defense has been opportunistic as well. I think the Rams offense has been able to get in position, but I'm going to ultimately say that the Rams are going to have a lot of opportunities, but Vic Fangio's defense is gonna bend but don't break, gonna let up a couple of field goals, and the ending score is gonna be 2016. I think ultimately like it's gonna show that the Eagles are showing a little bit of a weak link that like Jalen Hurts is not gonna be playing well. They probably should have won this game pretty easily based off of like how the game progresses, but because he's not playing well, the Rams almost beat them, and it's like a wake up call for the Eagles that not only last week, yes, she beat the Packers, but there was a lot of opportunities for the Packers to win that game, and they could not finish. The Rams, I'm gonna say the same thing. They had so they're going to have a lot of opportunities. They cannot finish, and it's another wake up call to the Eagles of just like something has to change because we have like legitimately the Eagles have the talent to win it all.
They have the best roster.
They're the best roster in the NFL. It's just like, can they actually execute? And that's my concern.
Yeah, I do want to say I think the Rams are probably were the sneakiest Super Bowl pick coming into the playoffs as a team that could legitimately I think make the Super Bowl outside of like all the clear favorites. Like you had the Eagle in the NFC. I think everyone was like, okay, it's probably either the Eagles or the Lions. And like I thought the Rams were the third best team in with chances of making it there. And then I don't know. I really like the Rams, but both of us go in the Eagles. Now we get to the game of the weekend. MVP, number one and number two MVP candidates going up against each other. Voting has already happened, so this won't affect the voting. But
in the minds of people,
in the minds of people, this is the MVP, even though there's a lot of other people on the sidelines. But you've got the Ravens going to Buffalo to face the Bills. Baltimore's favored by 1. So if this was in Baltimore, this would be like a 5-point game based on like how home field's baked in and stuff. Who are you taking in this game?
You're gonna go to me. Okay.
I know who I'm taking, but I want to hear your explanation. Okay. And I'm like, if you can persuade me.
So, just like we said with the last matchup, these two teams have played previously. So, week 4, the Rams.
It was a long time ago.
That's what I'm trying to say. So, with the Rams Ravens game that happened back right before Thanksgiving. The Rams were on a little bit of a win streak, but then they kind of like dipped, and then they went on another win streak. With the Bills, this is a much different team than they face against the Ravens. So I don't want to say just throw out what happened before, but take into context. I think that the Bills have been playing a lot better. They're obviously
that was the stretch where the Bills lost, like they're back to back, and then they rattled off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes,
7 straight wins
for that Rams.
Yeah, for the Rams.
So and that's the reason why I want to point out is like obviously it was early in the year for the Bills. They were still trying to get their chemistry together, and Khalil Shakir came through.
Derrick Henry there, crazy.
Exactly, and I was like the run defense was bad too. I think that Lamar and Derrick Henry are still going to work this Bills defense. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was before, but I still think they're going to be able to work this Bills defense to get in that mid-20s range. I think that the Bills, who have been on a very hot streak, I think that Josh Allen is playing some of his best ball. So is Lamar. And that's the reason why they're the top 2 MVP candidates. I think it's going to go in overtime. I'm saying 24-24 going into overtime. Josh Allen is going to have his day the whole entire game. He is going to start driving down the field. But then the one thing that has been constantly his kryptonite, turnovers, comes in at the worst time. A pick. Lamar sets up Justin Tucker for a game-winning field goal, 27-24. The reason why I'm saying that is because there is legitimate beef between a lot of Ravens fans and Bills fans because of like who they agree on who's going to be the MVP. I think that this is going to fuel the fire. I think
it should be Josh
Allen. Either one, I'm fine with whoever wins.
Yeah, because I think these are both clear too. I would just give it to Josh Allen this year,
based off of just like, well, it's his turn, but
well, not that.
But
if they're using the same metrics they used last year, be like Josh Allen Lamar should win it over Josh, and then you can use the same metric arguments they used last year.
But I think ultimately that's going to put a lot of fuel in the fire of just like Josh Allen, get it done. that kind of thing. Even though we both love Josh Allen, but that's constantly been a thorn in the side is turnovers. It hasn't shown up so far this season.
And it never really shows up in the playoffs.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But there is technically.
I am going to take Baltimore in this game as well.
Okay.
But I'm not going to take it because I think there's going to be a Josh Allen stinker. I think it's going to be a run defense stinker from Buffalo. The thing that always sells Buffalo in the playoffs is their defense. And I'm not even anticipating an insane Lamar Jackson day because I'm still on the show me Lamar in the playoffs before I really believe in you. And right now I'm talking myself into I should just pick the Bills. But I think having Derrick Henry adds an element to the offense of Baltimore that they just haven't had. They haven't had that guy who's just built for January football, who's built for playoff football, where you can just hand it off to him 25, 30 times a game, and he's going to just get you those. He's going to fall forward every
He can also still break away. He still has speed at 31 years old.
They have a good offensive line, like a run blocking offensive line, good play calling. Zay Flowers is back in this game. That's big. And the defense of Baltimore, ever since adding or moving Kyle Hamilton to free safety, they've been a top 5 EPA per play defense. And I don't think the Bills are going to be like absolutely like they're not going to let. I don't think they're going to let Derrick Henry run for 200 yards. But I think Derrick Henry is going to get to that 120, 130 range. Lamar's going to do enough. I don't think there's going to be a lot of turnovers in this game. If there is a turnover, I probably lean to that team to win. Like if Josh Allen coughs up the ball, if Lamar Jackson fumbles on a handoff or something like that, I think that team honestly might win the game. But you're going to have two of the greatest quarterbacks playing in the game right now. I think honestly probably the two best quarterbacks playing in football right now. And this is going to be an awesome matchup. I'm going to take Baltimore 23 to 20 in regulation. I don't think it's going to overtime. If we got an overtime game,
I'm hyped for it. I'm hyped for it. It's going to be the night games, the final like divisional game.
Night game. Hopefully it's snowing.
Dude.
But like I will, the Bills. Josh Allen is, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL right now. But the difference to me is I think Baltimore's defense is going to be a little bit better. I think Derrick Henry, I think James Cook's been really good this year. It's still the king. And as much as I trust Josh Allen in the playoffs more than I trust Lamar in the playoffs, I think this might be the year for Lamar to get to that Super Bowl. So I'm going to take Baltimore to win 23-20. And
do you think that Baltimore or Buffalo has a better shot at beating the Chiefs in their home stadium?
I have to say Buffalo because they beat them
already, yeah.
But I think they both have an equal chance. I think both these teams can definitely. I'm not going to say like, oh, they can just go beat this. Like, I don't think the winner of this is just they're just going to go beat the Chiefs because it's or Houston.
Hey, you never know.
But more than likely it'll be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But the Bills did beat the Chiefs, and Josh Allen had his at that time was supposed to be MVP moment. But I think both these teams can go into Arrowhead and win. Baltimore almost did week 1 when they were a foot away. Mark Andrews was playing terrible.
They would have also had it gone for the
they would have gone for 2. But still, I'm like their defense was playing terrible. They were like a new Derrick Henry just got added to the team. Like
Zach Orr was just learning his.
Yeah, that was like week 1, obviously. So it's completely different teams.
Exactly.
But both these teams can go into Arrowhead. If me and you are right, we differed on none.
None. We just differ on score.
I think if all the favorites win, I think we'd be set up for an absolutely awesome.
I mean, Eagles versus Lions, and then with maybe I don't know, probably not Aiden Hutchinson getting back there, but probably for Super Bowl, maybe.
I'd be pushing. I wouldn't probably. I know you can say you only go to the Super Bowl once.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't. You could be risking long term your career.
No.
If you come back, get hurt again, or you just come back and mess up your rehab. Like you could mess up the start of your next year where it's like, okay, just get fully healthy, man. And you're going to be, I know they're going to lose they might lose both their coordinators, and it's like I get it to an extent. It's like, well, I don't know if we're ever going to get back to a Super Bowl. I don't. If you are like at 50%, you can't go. And I find it hard to believe with an injury like that he can
That
be
happened.
more.
That didn't happen at the beginning of the
It
season.
happened
It
in like
happened
mid-season.
like
And
like
it
right
was
before
like
weeks.
it was like week 6 or 7.
Yeah, because like literally he had like what 9 sacks, and he was like the top of like the.
He was in with defense player of the year.
Yeah, no, he literally was on the pace
Yeah.
to potentially even break the sack record.
So I get it, wanting to come back and help your team win the Super Bowl, but like at the same time, you could also hurt your team if you aren't 100%. And I mean, you're never going to say I'm not 100%. Like Coach Campbell can ask you, but no, Coach, I'm good to go. And he's like, all right, Aiden, you're the captain of our defense. We need
That's
you.
your best Dan Campbell.
No, but oh my God, you gonna buy a kneecap when you. But it's like this is all the Lions have to get to Super Bowl first. They have to get past Washington first, which is they're a good team. But I wouldn't do that if I was Aiden Hutchinson and come back. I know we've seen players like the last one I can remember is Jalen Waddle coming back for Alabama in the national
And then
championship
you also
game.
had like Cam Akers came back for the playoffs after he completely destroyed.
But I remember like Waddle coming back after like breaking his ankle, and he just like Alabama won the national championship. We didn't need him, but he was like I remember him like limping around. I'm like, dude, just get off the field. Like he was like, I was like, man, we're up like 10 points. We don't need you. We've been fine with that. Like, just don't get hurt. But like that's the last time I can remember like a player like pushing their rehab up to come for like the national championship or Super Bowl or something like that. But I don't think Aiden should just come back. Long story short. But you got anything else for this week?
Not really. I mean, obviously, like I said, I think it's gonna be some great matchups. Last week we had just only really one good game. The other ones were kind of blowouts, so that's a little bit disappointing.
There was good moments.
Yeah, it was good moments.
I enjoyed the Texans game,
and I also enjoyed watching the Rams absolutely obliterate the Vikings. You know,
Sam Darnold lost himself like $80 million in the span of 2 games.
That's
well, we have a little bit of time. Sam Darnold, what do you do? Or if you're
Sam Darnold,
if you're the Vikings, what do you do?
If I'm the Vikings, shoot,
let him walk.
Honestly, okay. If you feel that JJ McCarthy is going to be good enough, you don't pay Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold is still going to ask for money. He is still going to
tag him.
You could tag him.
If I'm Vikings, I would at minimum tag and trade.
Okay.
If I'm like if I know a team like Tennessee
or the Raiders
or like there's you got Tennessee. I don't think you go back to New York.
No.
But I think you got Tennessee, you've got the Raiders, or some other teams that need a quarterback next year. Browns need a quarterback. I mean,
there's a couple of different ones, but they can't. But they wouldn't be able to afford him. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying like those
Steelers, but
I don't think they get out of Russell Wilson's contract. But I'm like,
what do you mean? They have only signed for 1 year.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's like them, and also there's like some rumors that like Justin Fields is going to be QB1 next year. It's like, all right, but you
re-signed the Steeler fans that are going back in revisionist history on how good Justin Fields was.
He was 4-2. No,
he was okay. He was solid.
You won against Atlanta because of Chris Boswell. Literally, Chris Boswell.
Thank you.
Yeah,
my goat.
Dude, you got carried. You got. I mean,
Josh Allen and Chris Boswell. Okay, you also had Saquon, so.
I had Saquon, I had Amon-Ra St. Brown, I had Jericho. I
had a good team.
I know you did.
I also lost Rasheed Rice.
We both had just really bad luck in our with like going against like legit the top scorer each time.
Yeah, but what was I saying? I was talking about Sam Darnold. I would at minimum if I'm Minnesota, I would tag him if I know Tennessee's throwing like a 3 or 4 year deal at him. I would go okay, or like I hear rumblings about it. I'd tag him. Trade him to Tennessee. You can probably if I'm going to
get 2 seconds.
You get that much.
What, like a second or third?
Like I need to get a second this year, 3 the following year.
Okay, like is it like a conditional 3?
Yeah, that can turn into a 2 maybe if maybe he makes the Pro Bowl, or or maybe it's like an incentive based touchdown passes or something like that. Like if he throws for 25 touchdowns, then it turns into a. Like I know all the most common one is playing time.
Yeah.
But like if he throws in his second year in the contract is gonna be conditional for like the following year. Like if his next year he throws for 25 touchdowns. Okay, that 3 moves into a 2. That's probably what I'd do. Is
Just be like, if he's successful.
Yeah, because in Tennessee, or at least you just have your time. If he like just is awful,
And then you can trade away.
and then you can have the number 1 pick. You can trade back, maybe recoup an extra 3rd and 4th round picks for trading back with the.
There are some people that think that like legitimately that people are going to trade up for number 1 and get a future first. Like, no,
you can get a second.
You can get a second, but no one is going to trade up after what they've seen about other people who've traded up and not had their first round pick.
This is not Caleb Williams. No. This is not Bryce Young.
And even Bryce Young did not do well his rookie year. Like legitimately, we gave the Bears Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you traded multiple firsts.
Yeah,
and like Brian and not Brian Burns, you traded DJ Moore.
Yeah,
it's like you're not getting that kind of haul. Like if who's picked? It's the Giants pick 3.
Giants pick 3.
Like let's say the Giants go, okay, they hear the Browns are going to draft a quarterback. They go, we really want Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
You could say if you just signed Sam Darnold, you'd be like, all right, give us your 2nd round pick this year and like a 4th this year and a 4th next year. That's what I'd give up if I was
the Giants.
The Giants. If I hear no other team is trying to move up,
yeah.
Like if like I think the Raiders would move up.
It depends on what
this is all semantics.
This is also like we're also still trying to figure out who's going to be coach, who's going to be GM for some of these teams.
I would be surprised if there is if there is a 1st round pick traded for the number 1 pick this year, if it gets traded.
It'll be funny. I know it's not going to happen, but if Tom Brady forces an interview for the Raiders job for Josh McDaniels, I know it's not going to happen, but how
he's going back to New England.
He's going back to New England.
He's going to be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, more than likely.
But either way, we kind of got off the rabbit trail a little bit. We'll get into all this stuff later. I mean, next week we'll only have 2 games to preview, and then we'll get into mock draft stuff, which thank God finally.
Well, no, see, you won't be worried about that because it'll be the first time ever the Texans will make it to the championship game. They never made it before.
Yeah, and they won't make it this year. I think they'll make it under D'Amico Ryans.
Okay. That's your bold prediction.
I don't think it's bold. He's a good coach.
Yeah, but like still, you've never done it before. You've never done it before. It's very hard to get.
He's the best coach in our franchise's history.
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean, okay, like
Gary Kubiak is
okay. Well, I'm not gonna say maybe like based on what he's done so far. I think he's the best coach, like actual coach. Like I think by the end of his tenure at Houston, he will be the best coach, and that will be also helped out that he'll have a good quarterback in Stroud.
And what will also help too if you get rid of Bobby Slovic.
That's also the problem. If we win this weekend, I think he's going to get kept, and I think he's going to get kept either way. The only silver lining with Bobby Slovic, maybe he plays himself or coaches himself into a head coaching job. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's happening. The Jets, baby.
Please, Jets, he's so good. Don't take him away from us. No, but I am worried that Bobby Slovic, I didn't even think the offensive game plan was very good last week. Like we put up 32 points. One of those was off of a pick six.
The other one
was Derek. We got 3 points off of a Derek Stingley interception all the way to the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
And then like one of them was we just spammed Nico Collins and he broke a tackle and busted out like a 38-yard pass. And then CJ Stroud ran faster than I've ever seen him run before. And we got a field goal out of it. And it was like I didn't think it was great play calling. And I get it. He's got like all of his weapons hurt still. You're on the same agreement with me. He's not that good of a coach. He can play design some good sometimes, but overall, from a schematic point of offensive line, just where he has players lined up, he doesn't really understand. And it's like his situational play calling is terrible. Houston has had the most 3rd and longs out of any team this year, and they've had one of the most 3rd and longs like ever. Like I saw it on Twitter the other day. Like most 3rd and 10s facing a season is like their 3rd all time in a season.
Well, it probably
they face like over 60 3rd and 10s this year.
I think it's really just because Larry Tunsil just keeps.
Larry Tunsil is not. Yeah, he's not the issue on the offensive line.
No, but he gets to get those penalties for sure.
But he gets penalties, but he's also elite pass blocking, and he doesn't allow people to get extra shot. But everyone else on the offensive line does. Granted, I want to say they played good last week.
Yes, they did, and hopefully you can get even better in the draft and free agency.
Hopefully, but that's all we have time for this week. We'll be back next week to preview Conference Championship Week. Fingers crossed, Houston's there, or not fingers crossed because obviously
So,
whatever.
I mean, yeah.
But either way, thank y'all for watching and see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.